Spring has arrived. Now what? I live in the Pacific Northwest and we have all four seasons. Oddly, the seasons arrive and behave exactly as you would expect. Right now, there's flowers blooming, it's warm enough to sleep with the window open, and the sun is setting later. You may wonder why I think the change of seasons is worth remarking upon. I used to live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we didn't experience the seasons in the same manner. For most of my adult life, I lived on the coast. We had cold summers and amazing sunny fall weather. And I can recall using my heater on the 4th of July because the fog was thick and it was cold. And most Thanksgiving we spent outdoors enjoying the late fall sunshine in our shorts. When I moved from the coast inland, I lived in Silicon Valley where it's about 72 degrees most days with a few winter days that are colder. The seasonal change is a real eye-opener. I now must schedule activities based on what I think will happen with the weather. I'm getting better at this, but I admit I've been in the Pacific Northwest for 7 years, and I still miss entire months of outdoor opportunity because I'm too slow to act. This year is going to be different. This year, I'll begin traveling again. Are you planning a vacation this year? I spent a lot of my time in my life traveling. Mostly international travel has been my area of interest, but this year I have a few weddings to attend, so we'll couple wedding travel with family visits and vacationing in the United States. When I traveled internationally, I always had in the back of my mind that I would explore the United States when I was older and less mobile. But this year, the cards were dealt perfectly to allow an exploration of the American Southwest. I aim to plan a nice getaway without breaking the bank. Overall, I believe we'll spend about 4 or 5 weeks traveling in Utah, Nevada, Arizona, and maybe Colorado in the spring and again later this fall. How do I plan travel? In the past, we've split the cost. For example, one buys flights and accommodation, and the other person pays for meals, ground transportation, and attractions. After visiting over 20 countries, we learned that the cost of flights and accommodation is nearly equal to the cost of meals, ground transportation, and attraction, so that established our budget. This time we'll enjoy car camping with only one round-trip flight, so that formula won't work. We love to hike and camp, and that will be a big focus this year. And this is how we'll plan the cost for a 2-week camping vacation. First of all, we'll make a big list of all the destinations we want to see during 2 different trips, a spring trip and later a fall trip. We'll divide the destinations into geographically close areas. America's massive and drive times are very long. We want to hike more than drive. We'll figure out drive times between destinations so we can plan our hikes. We'll find campgrounds and reserve space if required. We'll find affordable hotels for the days when we don't camp. There is nothing so delightful as a warm, private shower after camping for a week. We'll estimate the cost of gasoline, estimate the cost of campsites, and estimate the cost of hotels. We'll add the cost of gas, campsites, and hotels to learn how much to budget for meals and attractions. We figure it'll cost about $600 for gas and about $650 for camping and hotels. Therefore, we know we'll spend about $1,250 for meals and attractions, and that's about $178 a day for 2 people or $89 a day per person. I can use the same formula for our fall time trip since we'll be in the same region. I find that focusing on activities with little or no cost on a vacation is as fun or even more fun than spending time in an amusement park or a museum. America has a lot to see, and part of the fun for me is to look out the car window at the scenery and get caught up in daydreaming, one of my favorite pastimes. Our hiking and camping days often flow in this manner. We wake up, we have coffee and oatmeal, we prep a good snack for our hike, we hike for 6 to 8 miles or less if the trail is shorter or more if the trail is longer. We typically will have a big lunch in a restaurant, and that's usually around 3 in the afternoon. When we're done, we find a shower at the campground, or if there's no showers, we find a place to shower. We head back to our campsite and we read, we watercolor paint, and this year I may add in whittling. We eat a snack, I chat with my spouse, and we get up the next day and we hike a different trail. Our experience camping in the United States has been fantastic. We try to hit the campgrounds early so we can get a site, but we've also had luck at around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning as people are leaving their campsites at that time as well. Where will you vacation this year? I encourage you to consider how to have fun without breaking the bank. I love it when I find a secret getaway that is free for all and enjoyed by few. I love that I don't have to compete with crowds of people at $200 a day to have fun. If I weren't planning on a camping vacation this year, I would focus on local hikes, free days at the many museums in my area, and spending a good amount of time watercolor painting or embroidering while I soak up the sun on the back patio. Playing a card game and chatting with my spouse is another great pastime. I've been focusing this month on setting my phone down during shared time, like when we're watching television. I've become way too distracted lately and found that simply not picking up my phone and multitasking, as people call it, while watching television has improved my enjoyment of the program we're watching. During a camping trip, there is so little phone time, I feel that we'll have a lovely opportunity to open our eyes and hearts to what's in front of us. We experience life versus watching someone else's life on social media. It's healing. I can hardly wait.